What up, everybody? I decided to redo this live stream here. I went back and rewatched the first one that I did, and yeah, my audio was like super quiet. I guess I forgot to transfer over my filters to this new audio input, so I'm gonna redo it, try to do it a little bit better. So yeah, Supergirl, man. You know, it's funny because I didn't really think it was that bad of a movie. And I think there are several factors to the success of a film. So you can have a decent film and it still just, still tanks. And I think that's kind of what happened here. It wasn't a bad movie. It didn't stand out as something special, to me at least. I know that with a movie like this, the consensus is going to be like kind of all over the board. So there's people that love it, people that hate it, people that just like it, thought it was okay. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm also not really that big of a DC guy. I love comics. I'm more of a Marvel fan, but yeah, I still enjoy the movies. Yeah, hopefully my audio is a little bit better. I'm just gonna check on that real quick. Try to catch up with my live here and see what it sounds like. Oops. What are you doing? What are you doing? It's kind of some bullshit because I know I had this in my headphones, but yeah. Yeah, well, at least it's working. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so story-wise, I thought there were some flaws to this movie. Structurally, it was pretty sound. The dialogue wasn't bad. I was afraid that they would, throw in some corny lines here and there, but no, I feel like it was written really well. There are aspects to the story that kind of made it not as strong, in my opinion. Like they could have done things a little bit better, but we'll get into all of that. One thing I did notice that it did feel a little bit James Gunnified. There was definitely, and they call that style, right? Every filmmaker has their own style. So I can't say that that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's just you got James Gunn's fingerprints on this film because he was behind it all, Looks like I got a comment. Says, Global was just lowered. Okay, hey, how's it going there, Sam D? I'm going to pull that up. Let's see, hold up. Says global was just lowered to 37 million, domestic 25 million, and global 62 million. Yeah, I mean, hey, I appreciate it. I just started this channel. I just wanted to get on here and ramble a little bit about this movie. Went and watched it in theaters with my buddy, and I didn't think it was a bad film, man. I really didn't. Like there were some flaws to it, I would say, and as I said, I'll go into that here in a little bit. But it's kind of sad to see, and I mean, it is all subjective for sure. It is all subjective. It's sad to see because I think Millie Alcock actually did a pretty good job. I thought her performance was well. I thought Jason Momoa did really good. I mean, I feel like he was kind of created for that character. So, I mean, there's just really what it is I think it's important to know your audience, you know? And I think that is kind of where they go wrong, not just with this movie, but also with other, female driven superhero films, right? And also another thing is I think the timing of this movie was a little bit off. I feel like if they would have released some projects before, gave Superman a little bit of time to soak in to this new DCU here. It probably would have done a lot better. But I was talking about how I follow some channels like Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker. Those guys, they're harsh. They're harsh, man. And I feel like we need that. They kind of do their own thing. I don't want to be like the opposite of that. I kind of want to fall in between. Give my actual opinion. I'm not a hater, man. And I'm not saying they are either. I think they give great critical advice, but yeah, maybe not that harsh. I was talking about how it did feel. You could feel James Gunn's fingerprints throughout this film. There's a little bit of some Guardians of the Galaxy type feel to it, which the comics, she was in space in the comics, she did go off, and I know this film was largely based on The Woman of Tomorrow, where Kara's story isn't, just on Earth, so there's going to be a sci-fi feel to it, and maybe that could be mistaken as being a little Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought they did all the aliens kind of cool. Especially like I don't know if it was like a popcorn machine basically, but it was like the alien, not to give no spoilers here, maybe a little bit of spoilers, but yeah, some of the aliens through the movie were kind of cool, just had like a Rick and Morty type style. Like you're going to see some weird shit, right? I feel like the movie held up well to the comics. There were some changes, but I do feel like it held up well. I thought the beginning of the movie was pretty cool. How they showed, Zor-El transporting the city off to Krypton. So that was pretty cool. They kind of kept that the same, right? The whole aspect of Kara not really having a place and being a little depressed. I'm glad they weren't like super heavy handed with that. I thought we were going to get like just, her getting drunk all the time. And I don't know, just being a little more sassy than she was in the movie. So I thought she did great. I thought Millie Alcock did great. And I don't think this is the end of her, right? Some movies that tank like this take the actor or actress with them, and I don't think so. Let's see. Sam D says Lobo was ruined for me because I watched an insane AI VFX blood VFX demo that was posted in a Reddit. It used Momoa and was so much like I thought he would be. Best AI video I've ever seen so far. Yeah, and that's kind of the danger. Guess I wanted more. He also, let's see. They also said, guess I wanted more Lobo rated R. Yeah, that would be great. They should make a Lobo movie. I think every time you've seen Lobo on screen, he kind of stole the stage, really. Despite Millie's performance, which was every time you've seen Lobo, it's kind of what made the film, But I do agree, and that's kind of the danger of AI, man. I've seen some really badass. I saw an AI video with Neil deGrasse Tyson. It was circling around on Facebook for a while. Okay, yeah. It's called Funhouse Fucked is what it's called, but don't watch it before seeing Supergirl. I've seen it. I'll have to look it up. I'll definitely look it up. Yeah, the AI video with Neil deGrasse Tyson and Stephen Hawking. I don't know if you've seen that, but it was hilarious, man. It was awesome. It could have been like a real movie. I'd go see it. But yeah, I definitely agree. Some of the Star Wars stuff is fun. Heck yeah. I will watch it. But yeah, check out that video with Neil deGrasse Tyson, man. That was great. It's like it had like Bill Gates in it, and Neil and Bill Gates are kind of sitting in this like van or it was something, and Neil's like, yeah, you should have took the what is it the immunization, and like lunges at him with a needle, and it was fucking great. But yeah, so yeah, I feel like this movie held up to the comics for sure. And they always got to kind of make it their own. I don't have any problem with movies straying a little away from the comics, but we've seen superhero movies that stray a little too far, and we know how that goes, right? So it's good to see that they're trying to keep it grounded, but still offer something unique, still offer something new. And as Sam D was saying, I was gonna go through the what do we got on? Yeah, so 54%. That's not great. Not great. The budget was, I believe, somewhere close to like 170 million, and globally it made 67 million. Whew, that's a big loss, man. But you know. Okay, Minions is next, huh? Let's see how that does. Oh, yeah. It's gonna put Supergirl in the dirt, I think. But yeah, it's like I said, that's kind of the sad thing about movies like this is it was a fun watch. Will I watch it again? I'll probably watch it again when it comes out on digital. I'll probably buy it on digital. The reason I think it flopped is because, for one, who are they trying to sell this movie to? Who are they trying to get into theaters, you know? Are they? To me, it kind of seemed like they're going after the adolescent teenage girl, right? Whereas maybe a better audience would have been a little bit younger. That's kind of what they did with Captain Marvel. They kind of went after a younger generation to, you know, have their iconic hero to look up to. I think a big thing for me when it comes to a comic book movie, excuse me, is that you can't rely on just comic fans in general, because each individual comic has its own kind of niche group, right, of people that were fans of it. Now, even though Woman of Tomorrow probably did really, really well, that's why they went. I don't know actually how well it did. I might end up going and actually reading this series. I haven't. Like I said, I'm more of a Marvel fan. But, you know, I had to get on here and not necessarily defend the movie, but maybe just give my opinion on what could be done better in the future to push these movies out, you know, movies like Supergirl. Because, you know, superhero movies, they're made for the, you know, the kids. Now, it's made for kids, but it's also made for the kids that grew up with these stories, right? So and personally, female superheroes are fucking badass too. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that we're always gonna go for an Iron Man or Spider-Man or Batman. Shit, I went and seen the Wonder Woman movie and loved it. You know what I mean? I thought the first one was great. I thought I thought Wonder Woman was fucking awesome. I like how they did the scene where they slowed everything down. They showed her super speed, you know? That was pretty cool. But yeah, I just feel like they need to kind of dial in on who their audience is. And that's really with anything. And I think most of the time, a movie that's successful, that's what it is they just, I mean, look at Spider-Man. That's easy because their audience is so wide reaching, right? Supergirl's not going to be as, you know, for people that don't know the story of Supergirl or Kara's story, you know, for someone that goes into it, they're thinking like, oh, well, yeah, kind of like a Superman movie, right? And then they start seeing all this sci-fi, weird aliens and these different planets and stuff. It kind of throw people off. So it's just it's hard with a movie like this to really know who your audience is specifically and try to market it to those type of people. Now, the other thing is the timing of it, right? We just got a Superman movie last year. I thought that movie was great. I don't think it was the strongest Superman movie. I feel like Man of Steel probably outshined this newer one. But it was still a good movie. And I like the actor too. I think his career, he brings a different type of charisma to Clark. That was kind of one of my gripes with the universe before, whereas they really could have gave Henry Cavill more. He almost felt a little robotic at times, and I don't think that was because of his acting ability. We know he's a wonderful actor. I think it was more of just the writing. You know, you got to know how to write for certain actors to play certain characters, right? So there's times where it just kind of felt like Superman was kind of a dumbass. You know, and that, like I said, all subjective. That's just my opinion. But, you know, and I liked the more colorful feel of the movie. It kind of brought a brighter outtake on it. You know, whereas like Man of Steel going into Batman versus Superman still kind of felt like a Batman movie. They're trying to make it a little too dark. I'd like to see a Batman movie that is serious in tone. You know, because nowadays we're not doing the goofy type stories anymore. We're trying to make movies that look like it's real life, right? But I'd like to see a Batman movie that kind of incorporates some of Tim Burton's whimsical nature a little bit, maybe some of the elements of the story or the designs of the characters, but then still keep the tone of the movie just darker. You know what I mean? It's Batman. It's got to be darker, right? But yeah, if they brought in, I mean, think about Robert Pattinson's Batman, right? For me, it was hard to. I liked the movie, but it was hard for me to stay interested in the story because it just kind of felt like they're trying to redo The Dark Knight for me, you know. But yeah, so timing. I feel like if they would have, you know, released a few movies, and I think them doing Man of Tomorrow, what is it, next year? I think they're doing Man of Tomorrow. I think that's bad timing as well. I mean, we're just getting a little too much Superman, Supergirl. Let's branch out. Let's get some Green Lantern. I know they're doing the Lantern show. Don't know how I feel about that yet. I watched the trailer. It looked a little strange to me, but we'll see how it goes, right? Yeah, well, why not do, I don't know. You know, like we gotta branch out a little bit more. I see what they're doing. I see that they're trying to establish like these two big characters, Superman and Supergirl. But, you know, I believe that if they would have came out with some of their other movies, like is Robert Pattinson's Batman going to be included in this? I don't know about that. I'm gonna have to look that up. From what my understanding, I don't think he is. You know, I think they're gonna like basically reboot Batman after Robert Pattinson's Batman, right? Which seems a little strange to me, but Yeah, I feel like if they would have released this movie, gave Superman some time to breathe, then this movie could have done a lot better. Now, and another thing I would have liked to see, I would have liked to see some larger stakes within the story. Hey, you know, I get it. I was reading this article here, which was interesting. Supergirl proves Hollywood studios still don't trust women superheroes. They made some good points in here, but one of the things it was saying a little ways down here was, you know, hey, where'd it go? Oh, no, it was a review. I guess we can go through some of these reviews. It was in a review where I was reading it. Right here. Lisa Johnson Mandel said, It's refreshing to see a superhero film that's not just souped up smash fest. I agree with that. I mean, a little bit. Some of that, you know? Although at times it's dark and messy, yeah, and I guess that's what I mean. It's mostly the triumphant story of a girl and her dog. So for me, great, you know, yeah. The villain came in, shot her dog with an arrow. Her dog's dying. She's got to save her dog. Again, with the kind of same trope being used from Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I wish the villain would have been established as like posing more of a threat to the overall world, you know? So if you think of like story structure, like Act 1 going into Act 2 and 3, Act 1 is all about establishing the ordinary world of the character and then introducing the inciting incidents that threatens that world. So they show you the world. They create a problem that has to be overcome, right? So, okay, you know, Supergirl, she doesn't really have an ordinary world. She's just kind of floating around, doesn't really know where to go, and her world is her dog, right? Okay, fine, that's great. But to introduce the villain, and I mean, you know, they showed, was her name Ruthie? Ruthie, I don't know if I'm saying her name right. But when they introduced her and they showed her family member getting killed, yeah, that showed a little more of the stakes. This dude's out here just, you know, what was his name? Krem. I think his name was Krem. They showed, you know, that he's kind of being a menace out here, right? But just to draw Supergirl into this story, you know, and fight this villain just to save her dog. It could have been a little bit. They could have done that a little bit better. You know what I mean? They still could have done her trying to save her dog, but like also have the villain be a little more menacing, you know? And the villain, he really didn't feel memorable to me. You know, it was like, I don't know, you know, like one of the big things that sells some of these movies is who is the big bad that they're fighting in this movie. You know what I mean? It's not just, it's kind of a dynamic. Like, yeah, I want to go watch this movie about Spider-Man. Great. But if you see Spider-Man fighting Venom, boom, that changes everything, right? So it's like the villain is just as important as the superhero. So yeah, and to me, it kind of brings me back to like the Marvels. I think that's kind of why the Marvels didn't do as well. You know, it's a factor of why the Marvels didn't do as well, right? That the villain just wasn't really memorable. I mean, it's not, you know, and I'm using a really unfair example here, but like it's not the Joker, man, you know? It's not Venom. Like these are really iconic. Nobody's going to be talking about how menacing Krem was in this movie 5 years from now, you know? So there's little aspects to this movie that could have made it stronger. And those are the factors that I would say didn't help this movie out. But yeah, let's see what other people are saying here. So David Sims, Supergirl, the character still has a lot going for her. I agree with that. I definitely want to see her in other projects. Hopefully they will learn from some of their mistakes in here. But the character itself, the actress they have playing her, I thought it was great, man. I thought she was Supergirl. That's Supergirl to me, you know? Yeah, presumably including a future in the DC universe. Supergirl, the film, meanwhile, is only a mildly diverting whiff. Yeah, I get that. Despite an appealing rough-edged title character played with scrappy aplomb by Millie Alcock, this second installment in what DC is positioning as an unfolding multi-character franchise defaults to too many of the cliches of superhero cinema at its worst. Yeah, Dana, I just gotta say this. The comics, that's what they kind of, that's kind of what drove the comics, was cliche. A little bit, you know what I mean? You gotta remember these comic books were sold to kids. You gotta have the strong buff character coming in and being like, I'm here to save the day. There's gotta be a little bit of that. But, I also do understand. There were some... What made this movie different? Or was it just another superhero movie? A fun story to watch, right? Not a movie that everyone in the world was like, oh, I gotta go see this movie, And if we weren't living in the day and age that we're in, when it comes to Supergirl, these one-off titular character movies, standalone movies, they got big shoes to fill, right? You can't just make a Spider-Man movie about him fighting Doc Ock and it's going to be great, because we got this movie over here where every superhero is fighting Doctor Doom, So it's like, it's harder. It's hard out here for these smaller films, right? Stephanie says the action sequences are jerky and disjointed. I thought they were good. I thought they were great, especially with Lobo, man. But as Sam D said, that's the danger of this day and age of AI, is like, it can skew some expectation, right? You see this crazy fight on the internet that was made with a computer, and then you go and watch the movie and it seems a little watered down. Supergirl's laser eyes constitute the only occasional, if inadequate, jolt of life. That was pretty cool. I did like her what was it? Didn't she blast a big old hole? I didn't necessarily like that scene where she flew out of the hole. I thought that was a little weird, or it was a little CGI-ish. You know what I mean? I feel like they could have done better. It was, I don't know, it was a strange shot to me, but I do like how she blasted through the wall there. Big old hole in the wall. That was cool. All right, we'll read a couple more. 2 films into James Gunn's DC Extended Universe reboot, Supergirl already feels like a fill-in. Okay, fair enough. Millie, and these are the ones I was kind of looking for, because everyone was actually kind of loved Millie. And I'm happy for her. I feel like she deserves it. Millie Alcock delivers a humorous, heartfelt, and emotionally resonant performance. Unfortunately, the uninspired story and dystopian production design weigh down the film, slowing its pacing and preventing Alcock from fully taking flight. Completely agree. I'd like to see more earthly adventures with Kara, right? Or her teaming up with some of the other superheroes. So we'll see. I haven't completely lost hope for the new James Gunn universe here. But, we'll see how Clayface does, right? Clayface actually looks pretty good. I hope that the expectation for that film the bar isn't set too high, because I don't think it's supposed to be necessarily a big film. I think it's just supposed to be a nice little closed-in story about this villain, right? Or how he may turn into a villain. So yeah, I feel like that's pretty good. I definitely wanted to see, you know, there were more. Some of these are newer ones I was reading before. Um, but for the most part, I think the majority of people who commented on here or left a review said Millie Alcock was good. That she did great, you know? So yeah, what is next? What do we got next? We got Clayface. When does that come out? Oops. Clayface movie. Very interesting character. Clayface. Very strange. And I like how even on the trailer picture here, um, for Clayface, they put the DC symbol kind of real small. It's almost like they're trying to push it out as like a horror movie that you wouldn't really know is connected to the broader universe. That's probably a smart move. So yeah, let's see. Release date comes out October. Okay, so that's the next one. I like the poster. Poster's pretty cool. It's like him like looking up and then like his jaw like melting down. That's pretty cool. When does Man of Tomorrow release? Oops. Yeah, so next around this time next year. We'll see how they do on that one. I know there's people that are kind of worried about it, you know. But hey, you know, let's just hope we don't get another, you know, Batman versus Superman. And I'm not saying I didn't completely like that movie. Bringing in Doomsday was a little out of place. I feel like they didn't, you know, accurately utilize him because he's a big villain, right? He's supposed to be like, I mean, he's definitely not on like dark side level. Um, but he's still supposed to be like a bigger villain. I don't know. Definitely like the Lex Luthor in Superman a lot better than Jesse Eisenberg. He was, I don't know, Jesse Eisenberg was just a little too eccentric for me. Whereas, you know, Lex Luthor, he's calm and collected and he's super smart. And then you just got Jesse Eisenberg over here freaking out and acting all energetic. I don't know. I felt like he was kind of trying. It was a bit of a try hard performance there, you know. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but heck yes, you know, hey Sam D, I don't know if you're still watching or not, or if you end up coming back and finishing this, but yeah, I appreciate you coming on here. You're the first person to comment on one of my streams. I just started the channel about, you know, a couple weeks ago, so yeah, kind of seeing the beginning of my my little channel here. So yeah, I mean, I guess I'll keep this a little shorter. Really ain't got much more to say on this movie. I thought it was good. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I know they got a rating here. Some people were giving it, you know, 2 out of 5, stuff like that. I don't think I'm gonna be as harsh on this movie. I'll say 6 out of 10. Right? 6 out of 10. I'll play it safe. Yeah, so I wonder what else is next after what they all got planned. DCU plans future. So yeah. Oh, okay. Crypto shorts. 4 short films focus on crypto. And then we're getting a new series described as a Game of Thrones-like show set on... I don't know how to say that. Themyscira? Aztec Batman, huh? This can't be... I gotta look. Hang on. I'm gonna do this. Excuse me. James Gunn reveals loose 10-year plan for the DCU. Here, actually, I'll bring that up. It's on the Collider. James Gunn. DCU plans for the future. There it is. This came out last year, but, you know. I didn't see any new ones. Loose 10-year plan. What's going on with my internet here? There we go. What is next for the DCU? We got Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which I guess they just... Is it still called Woman of Tomorrow? No, it's just Supergirl now, right? Oops. Oopsies. I'm gonna have to cut that out, damn it. Okay. That kind of makes me nervous. Yeah. I don't know why it did that. Why would it do that? Anyway, fans will also see. Yeah, okay. That's it. Those are the plans, huh? Those are the plans. Man of Tomorrow, got Clay Fate, and that's it. Those are their plans. So I guess they're being a little withholding on that. Yeah, so anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. I will be live tomorrow covering the 6th episode of Rick and Morty. I just got done watching that and taking my notes. I thought it was a really good episode. So we'll have some fun with that. I'm finally caught up on my Rick and Morty streams, man. I was so behind. My internet went down. They had to bury a new line in my yard. Got behind on it. Wasn't able to do my Spider-Man video yet. Which that'll be coming too. But, yeah. Well, you guys have a good night. Like I said, I hope you like this live stream here. Like and subscribe. Whatever you want to do. See you guys.